The House is set to vote later today on a 3-year extension of enhanced tax credits under the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. 9 Republicans joined all Democrats during a procedural vote Wednesday to advance the measure. The subsidies, which were at the center of last year's government shutdown, help millions of eligible Americans cover premiums for their health insurance and expired on December 31st. CBS News congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns is following all this from Capitol Hill. So, Caitlin, what can you tell us about whether it's expected to pass in the House and maybe what was behind that change of heart on the part of those Republicans? What challenges does this face in the Senate?
Hey, Lindsay, it's great to be with you. Well, this is going to be a big vote in the House tonight. It's actually going to be very likely that it passes because those 9 Republicans have signaled that they're joining Democrats to vote for this measure. How did we get to this point? Well, remember, before the holidays, there was a group of 4 Republican lawmakers who crossed party lines to buck their own party to support a discharge petition to force a vote onto the House floor on these health care subsidies. Now, what we're going to see out of the House tonight, this will likely pass, but it is unclear whether the Senate would take it up. And there's also a lot of reservations in the Senate about this plan. You may remember last year, late last year, they voted against this very same measure. So we'll see this vote tonight. This will be a 3-year extension of those enhanced premium subsidies, but unlikely to become law anytime soon. What is happening, though, is this vote tonight is spurring momentum for some kind of bipartisan deal. Both chambers know that they have to address health care costs in some way, but what that looks like really remains to be seen. I've been talking to some lawmakers in those bipartisan working groups who are hoping to have some legislation out next week, but again, unclear exactly what that will look like. But today is meant to send a message that even in districts that have Republicans ahead of, leading them, swing districts that are up for grabs this coming midterm election, health care remains a big issue, as the president himself acknowledged earlier this week.
And the Senate advanced a bipartisan war powers resolution today to limit President Trump's ability to strike Venezuela again. What happens now?
Yeah, that was a huge vote today, Lindsay. This is a procedural vote. What will happen now is this will come up for debate on the Senate floor. So lawmakers will debate this measure next week and then take a final vote on passage. And it just needs a simple majority to pass. But Lindsay, it's so significant that this got support from a handful of Republican senators, some of whom have, inched towards this position in recent days. I talked to Senator Josh Hawley, Republican from Missouri, who voted for this measure. And he said the reason he voted for it is because the administration has said that they just don't know if they're going to need to deploy boots on the ground to Venezuela. And if so, if military action is needed, Hawley said, Congress is the one that is going to have to weigh in here. In his words, Congress needs to be on the hook for that. So you are starting to see a small group of Republicans buck the president here and say that Congress needs to assert itself when it comes to Venezuela. I'll note on this, though, that it is a very limited measure. It only pertains to Venezuela, but notable signal sending nonetheless. It is unlikely to pass the House or even be taken up by the House. That remains to be seen. But still, these lawmakers are trying to send a message. The president sending a message of his own, saying that those Republicans who voted for it should not be reelected.
Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you.